What's up, hobby? ZiggyNo here. It is the Hobby Heartbeat Live Saturday edition, June 7th. So much to talk about. So much. It's a weekend edition, so we're probably going to do a little more buzz than we're going to do hobby. In the news section, honestly, I don't have a lot of news, but there's a lot of buzz going on. A lot of hobby buzz, a lot of hobby beef, a lot of hobby chit chat. I'm trying this standing angle. What's his name? Mike Ham said too many people sit when they're doing content and breaking. You should be standing, be more active. So I'm gonna try that. My Virginia Wahoo Wah shirt on. First of all, this episode is brought to you by Professor Sports Card. Professor Sports Card. If you've not checked out Professor Sports Card, please check him out now. He is over on Professor Sports Card YouTube. I believe he's also on Instagram as well. Which, I got Bob Boozle. Yeah, that's the buzz. Is there a beehive around me, man? Okay. There's no beehive around me, Bob. Okay, anyway, so this episode is brought to you by Professor Sports Card. I just watched his video earlier today, and I was crying laughing. I also say it changed my agenda for today. I was going to do something totally different. And then after watching his video, I'm like, well, gosh, I got to come back with something different than that. I got to at least have a response to that in some way. So, again, this whole episode, I'm going to say Professor Sports Card many, many times. In my defense, I watch a lot of content. There are a lot of people who use a derivative of Professor, maybe 3 or 4. Not a lot, but enough that I watch them and I get confused. But there are a ton of teachers. I mean, freaking, like all you teachers, guys, I can't keep up with you all. Professor Sports Card. So in the news, and I seriously go, what's in the news today? There's not a lot of news-related stories. I watched Go GTS. They weren't on Thursday night. I didn't see anything from them. I look at the news channels. Nothing new there. So on the news, we'll say status quo. Nothing big. Release week-wise, Sterling was very successful for breakers. I know our team did really well. That product flew like freaking flapjacks. People like Sterling baseball. Big next release, in my opinion, coming up. You got Series 2 coming up next week. You also have Marvel coming out a week from Monday. So June 16th. That's going to be exciting. Other news. So I did watch it. Sports Card, investor, dealer, collector in that order. No, dealer, investor, collector, investor, dealer. You know what I'm talking about. Chris Sewell. And there's also a video, I think it was, who's the leprechaun guy? He's not a leprechaun anymore. Legends Never Die. Legends Never Die. We're talking about collecting dead. There's a lot of buzz around that. Mangino on collecting being dead. About modern versus, junk wax. Here's my take on this. And I made a short on this. No one watches my shorts, so I want to say this to you. The biggest, can you hear me? Put my microphone way over here. I'm a professor. Is accredited. Good afternoon, man. Is this better? Do I sound better now? I hope I sound better now. Wow. Yeah, I see the microphone button working a little bit better there, so that's probably better. It's funny, the professor's probably not accredited. Man, we got doctors. We got doctors in this hobby. I only know one real doctor in this hobby. Dr. James Beckett, as in the only one who has a PhD, I think, in statistical mathematics, if I'm not mistaken. But we got a lot of professors. Swell tag team with Professor with Ziggy butchering names. Yeah. I'm sorry. Butchering names. Again, Bob, I apologize. Okay, let's go back to the story. Let me stick back to script here. Okay. Modern versus junk wax. Big difference. Instant gratification versus delayed gratification. Back in the 1980s and 90s, you could not open modern product. You couldn't open the 86 product and get anything greater than the 86. Biggest chase in 86 was the Donruss rated rookie, Jose Canseco. If you got that card, you maybe got $30. I don't know, maybe $100 if somebody was blind and stupid and deaf or something. My point to this is that you didn't open any card modern at that time that gave you such value that you even thought about liquidity. Like, in fact, when you opened it, you thought, wow, it's worth $30 now. It's going to be worth thousands in the future. And the reason for that is that we were trained, the whole hobby. And again, this is my perspective as a child collecting in 86, 87. You have to wait. If you look at those 84 tops, Mike, those are worth more money because they waited 2 years. So you're in 86 right now. And I thought to myself, man, 84 is so long ago, right? As a child, looking back at that, whoa. And then you look at the 70s and you look at the 60s, like, wow. And I couldn't even think about pre-war. Like, it was like, I don't even understand that stuff. What war, guys? Right. So my point to this is that we were trained at that time to wait, and you hold it, and it's going to be worth money later. Your Jose Canseco will be worth money more in the future. Your Wally Joyner will be worth a lot more money in the future. That's not true. And the problem with that was that everybody was doing the same thing. Think about that. The whole movement in the 80s, 90s was collect your cards, build your sets, guys. That's marketing, by the way. I hate to say that to the set collectors. There are us OCD people who do like the feeling, the completionist of completing a set, but logically it doesn't make sense, right? That's a marketing thing. They know that there's completionists out there as OCD, and they market to that. But my point to this is that whole thing was that we were collecting because we were going to make money later. Somewhere the chase card came, right? And I will say this: 2018 gamble legalization brings more consumers to a market that are looking for instant gratification. Okay. And the instant gratification is that right now, guys, I can go to, if anybody comes to Sports Card Hobby with me, I can say, you can open a card right now in a modern pack that was just made a few months ago in the last year, and it can be worth thousands of dollars. And they go, what? 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 I'm not kidding. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's in his 60s. And he was showing me his old cards. And I tried to explain to him. I said, we were talking about Tyrese Halliburton. And so the crazy thing is Tyrese Halliburton will have cards right now going up in more value than all the cards you have sitting here on your table. He had a bunch of old junk wax cards. You go, what? What? How's that possible? Like, I can't explain it to you. Like, I can logically break it down to you on why this shit happens, but there's really no logical reason. It's just emotions. And that is because there's instant gratification. Because instantly someone's thinking, hey, I'm willing to pay a lot for that because it could be worth, or it will be worth more in the future in an instant flip, or I can get it, distant future, whatever it is. They have an idea. They can make money off of that. I don't follow it, but that's a huge difference between the two generations, right? Instant gratification, that is right now, guys. Give me my gratification now. Past for gratification, you're going to wait. So I say that because I like to collect sets. I often don't finish them because other things will distract me. Instant gratification will distract me versus delayed gratification. Now, when I complete a set, I'm also excited about it. I'm like, cool. Like, I remember completing sets in the Bowman set in 2018. I think the next set I completed, I think I told you, was the basketball set in 2022, Prism basketball. But after you complete them, I'm like, why did I do that? And then I even look back and I'm like, should I strip the Wimby out of that damn set and grade that card? It's worth more than the entire set itself. I don't know. Okay. Now let's talk about beef. I want to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by Professor Sports Card. Professor Sports Card. Yes, we can hear you. Great. Thanks, Philly Joe. Professor Sports Card. Thank you for putting together a video today. I laughed. I cried. It was very funny. Makes me very self-conscious too. A couple things. Read the comments. Boy, there were some brutal comments. Inconsistency. Ziggy's always hating on other content creators. He won't stick with this for long. I understand. I'll just say this too, man. This content creation part really is a hobby for me. It's a way to voice, express myself, enjoy. I don't do it the same as I used to. I will say, dude, I definitely take a lot of criticism. And I let that criticism impact what I create now. I absolutely do. Self-censored? Yes, probably. Different perspective on things? Yes, definitely. So I'll say this. I love doing this little live thing. I'll tell you why I do live too, guys. By the way, guys, I'm too fucking lazy, pardon me, to edit videos. Mr. Professor Sports Card, you do a great job. I love your videos. Say my name. That'll ring in my head all day long. I just cannot do that stuff. I'm not that creative. I can think about it, but I just don't have the editing skills, the time, energy to do that. So live for me is much easier. Now, live is dangerous for me. Like, I got to be running dual processor here. What are you thinking about? What are you saying? What are you thinking about? What are you saying? So let me move on. Buzz. The buzz in the hobby, guys. I should just talk about this the whole time. This should be a separate episode. We're 9 minutes in. Clip this. Freaking Boston Tea Party, Boston Card Hunter, a.k.a. Nick, versus This Cardboard Life. My God, the memeing attacks have been hilarious. I'm a fan of both. I've had more communication with Nick recently. I met This Cardboard Life last year at the Fanatics Fest. Really enjoy the guy. Great guy. Big fan. I love his creativity. I understand his perspective. And I'll just say this. I don't want to get on his fucking radar, dude. I do not want to be on his radar. I cannot see him using me in anything that'd be positive. So quickly. Okay, we're not talking about him anymore. Boston Card Hunter, on the other hand, same thing. Don't want to be on his radar either. Although, if you're, I don't know. If I had an injustice, I would probably go to him. And think about that, guys. If there was an injustice to you in the hobby right now, and you were screwed over, some scam happened, something, where would you go for justice? What vigilante, what Batman is going to rise up and help you in the hobby? I don't want to say unfortunately. Unfortunately, our options are limited, but Boston Card Hunter would probably help you more. Some of these other guys, I think, would, Dan the Card Man, I think, would definitely help if he can, right? But you go to Jeff, he's not going to help you. And, well, these other guys aren't going to help you either. Sports Card Dad ain't going to help you. So when I saw this whole beef going on, by the way, yeah, Dan the Card Man would help. When I saw this whole beef going on, all I thought to myself was, Jeff Wilson has got to be fucking so happy right now. He's got to be looking at this meme war between Boston Card Hunter and this cardboard life. I was like, thank you. Like, dude, Jeff Wilson looked at this cardboard life like PSA dropping the survey. Because before that, freaking Boston Tea Party, I like calling Boston Tea Party, was just bombing tea bags at freaking Joe Hollywood and Jeff Wilson. And it was good content. Dude, the one about the drinking was absolutely hilarious. First of all, I remember watching both videos. I remember watching Jeff on Whatnot doing the drinking. And I'll say in his defense, I don't think it was too far over the top. It wasn't belligerent. I understand. Like, I think if you're going to run an adult show, maybe you think differently. Anyway, and then I also watched him sitting there saying, we had a meeting and we're not going to allow blah, blah, blah. I'd have to look at the timing of that. When did the meeting take place? And when did the policy take place? And now, Jeff, you look like a fool because you can't backtrack. Like, if you ever get caught with a beer in your hand, they're going to come out. Like, it just, So watching those two go back and forth, Jeff had to be super excited about that. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I'm entertained. Am I not entertained? I'm entertained. Hopefully the hobby finds peace. Like, I honestly will say, like, I have communication with Jeff. I wouldn't say it's positive recently. Spoke to him one time. He just seems to blow me off when I reach out to him. Put it that way. I think I could get to him if I needed to. I could, like, get on his agenda and get on his appointment calendar, some shit like that. But I also feel like I know most people in the hobby. Sports Card Radio versus the World. So their little thing they came out with, and they've been blasting some torpedoes recently. I like it. 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 Them being accused of working with Ken Golden, and that was a great. I mean, Professor Sports Card did a great video on that. Their response in their that new media they're using, which I hate reading shit, but I do read that, which is, I will say, is effective. Like, in fact, I do not read any of the blogs that I see in the sports card hobby. I will summarize them sometimes or skim them, but I actually will read the Sports Card Radio blog. So think about how effective that is. Crazy, isn't it? Professor Sports Card coming out, and then he brings out the whole, and I'll just close on this one with the whole beef thing, the Ziggy versus Sports Card Dad. All I'll just simply say, look, Sports Card Dad, his comments there on Professor Sports Card Dad, Professor Sports Card Dad. He's not going to say his name. And I'll say it over and over and over. It's just, Dustin, you make criticism. You say you're open to debate. You make the little video about, yeah, I think it's okay for Jeff and I to give each other a little chuckle back and forth in debate. If you really mean that, dude, then stop blocking people who are giving you real debate. Like, I'm not a troll. I'm not some guy who's crazy. I'm not, I don't think that any celebrity is somebody else's mom, right? You know what I'm saying here? Not to say that's always crazy, but it sounds crazy to me. You know, I'll make someone else's shit list if they see that video. See, this is when you're making live videos, you shouldn't say stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? See, Philly Joe, I'll say this too. I like Dustin too. My problem with Dustin, he's a hypocrite. He attacks breakers all the time, and he's sponsored by a breaker, right? So you can't do both. You cannot do that. You can't continue to attack breakers and throw all your insults at breakers and be sponsored by a breaker. And then he's done other things that I think are just very questionable ethically. He clearly does not participate in stuff that he says he does. I don't know. That is what he wants to do, but he's not, like, I'll put it this way. As a hobbyist coming into the hobby, would I rather they watch Jeff or Dustin? And I would tell you hands down, I'd rather they watch Jeff. And again, I'm going to say only between those two options, I'd rather they watch Jeff. Dustin does not research the topics he talks about. He doesn't have experience to speak to them. And I think sometimes, anyway, it is what it is. I'll just leave it at that. The filters are saying, shut up, Ziggy. Shut up. Let it go. What else did I want to chit chat about? I do want to do a live night. In fact, I will tell you, today's Saturday morning, and I was really bummed that we did not have sports cards. What's it? Hobby Hotline today. Like, I honestly, dude, I look forward to Hobby Hotline on Saturday morning. I wonder what the topic is today. I also think to myself, I wonder who the host is today. And when I see John Newman, I was like, I wonder if anybody else is going to get to talk today. And that's probably why they don't have Hobby Hotline anymore. I mean, that show has just choked itself off, dude. In fact, one show I really enjoy, and I know most of you in the hobby are aware of this and probably watch it too, is Because I'm Carlos, that little arrogant bastard. Last night, he was on there, and I do mean that little arrogant bastard. He was talking about, he was criticizing Hobby Hotline and how poor they are doing their show, and I agree. They poorly run the show. First of all, they don't do any engagement at all from the community anymore. Their topics are typically not even relevant to what's going on. Like, they'll be talking about something from 2 weeks ago. And then they'll talk about topics that their guests aren't like, it's not pertinent to them. Like, they'll have vintage guys on, and they'll be talking about a modern idea. Like, hey, what do you think about the debut patch? And you got a vintage guy going, sounds great. You know, it's just, God, funny. Anyway, I want to put together a show like that. It's easier to say than it is to do that, right? To actually make something like that happen. What's up, Sports Car Queen? Big fan of your stuff. Do you feel like you can do a 1 free break a month and grow? Yes, I could, Jordan. I love that idea, by the way. You know, that's a totally different topic. I'll tell you, man, I am working on a whole bunch of stuff. I love sports car breaking. I really do. I'm a huge fan of it. I want to get more people involved in it. I want to do more to make it grow. I do think we're on a cusp. We've had this revolution in the hobby. We're at this entertainment cusp where the entertainment level is poor, right? It's there. Let's be honest. You get entertained watching sports car breaks. You get more than you did in the past. But there's something missing. I heard somebody make the comment, we need a Pat McAfee show that sells brakes. We're like, you could actually think about this. You have Pat McAfee. He's chit-chatting. He's talking about stuff, right? And then he's filling brakes. Dude, we got how many spots left? We got 3 spots, guys. Let's get this break finished. We having Joe on next week. He's talking about hobby content. Did you see what's going on in the draft? Our break is complete, guys. We're going to go to the break. And then you go to the break, and you have the camera going through the cards. And while he's going, he's talking about it. You know, that character, well, that car right there, what does that recently comp for? What do you guys recommend? Would you guys grade something like that? So you have a breaker going through the cards, just somebody talking to it. I think we could get there. So anyway, I'm saying too much. This is not the audience for that. You guys are probably not very breaker friendly. I tolerate breaking. Again, we can make it better. We can make it better. What do you not like about it? I know, I can hear all the fucking complaints. What do you like about cards today? What do you love about cards? Like, here's another idea I have. I have this idea called PC one, flip one, right? So in sports cards, if you're going to get into breaks, I think first of all, you get into breaks because buying boxes is the worst financial decision you can make. Statistically, mathematically, calculate the value. We all complain about it, but we all do it. People will sit there and just watch guys day after day opening boxes. And we sit there and we complain because, oh, one guy's breaking them for 55 people and that's not fair anymore. Anyway, come back to this. If you do a PYT break, which is my favorite break, buy your PC team. If your favorite team is, say, for example, I'm not going to say Washington Nationals. I live there. Pick a crappy team. I'm a Colorado Rocky fan. I'm not, but I love the freaking Colorado Rockies. I'm going to get them in every freaking break. Every break, I'm going to get the Rockies. And let me take that back. Not every break. Every break that you're going to get into, when you get into a break, you're getting in to get the Colorado Rockies. I should not say every break. That's ridiculous. That's not even scalable or fleet feasible, and there's different products and so forth. But you get the Rockies. And when you get the Rockies, you also look at what teams are available that I can flip the value of. Is it the Reds because they have Ellie De La Cruz? Is it the Pirates because they got skis? Is it the Dodgers because I can go after rookies and Ohtani? Whatever it is, you then buy another team, right? You combine the cost of these two teams. You're going to pay more for the Chase team. You'll probably pay less for your PC team. And then when you have a break, you get the cards in from both those teams, right? You've now doubled down. You're going to get little PC action, and you're going to get some cards that you are going to sell. You're going to flip. You're not keeping these. In fact, the best thing to do is get your favorite team. You're a Giants fan, get the Giants, and then get the team you hate the most, the Dodgers. Get them in every break you can. And that way you can fund your PC. Oh, man. Fund your PC on flipping the other cards. Just an idea. Mike from Mike's Retro entered so many breaks he didn't get any Paul Heyman cards. Again, he's getting to a break that's a high risk break. I think he's chasing immaculate, right? I wouldn't do that. Like there's certain things like that I would just go buy the single on. I personally like breaking where the statistics are in your favor, right? It's kind of like when you play games of chance, right? I like poker. I like blackjack. Those games I understand. Is a slot machine something I understand? No, but sometimes people like to put $1 in and pull the arm. Some people like to buy a lotto ticket and see what's going to happen. Some people like to buy the crazy spot and flawless team to see if they're going to hit a big card. That's just the nature of the beast. And it goes back to what I said about instant gratification. This hobby provides that. You can get that instant gratification. You can get the thrill, the entertainment, the mystery. Like, and I'll tell you too, man, in my opinion, I look at sports card breaking like going on safari, right? I look at it as, okay, products coming out. Like, I'll give you an example. Marvel's coming out. I haven't picked a character yet, but I'm going to pick a character and I'm going to go chase that character in several breaks, right? If a box costs $400, I'd rather spend $400 in as many cases as I can on that one character and then see what I get from the safari hunt, right? Am I better off? I'm not going to compare, go open a box and compare. It's not really a comparison. Just, I feel like I get greater value. I get greater entertainment, right? And spending the same amount of money for a hobby box as I do in breaks because I can enjoy watching multiple breaks, multiple cases, multiple potentials. Like even the thing like this, I'll watch a break where, you know, I have Black Panther and they open the case and they hit the Black Panther 1-1, but I'm in the next damn case. I love that, man. Not really love it, but you see what I'm saying? So most people problem with breaks is the 100% player per team is more problem because there's nothing more often not getting nothing. Well, again, what I'll say to that, Jordan, is it really comes back to you've got to vote with your money. Find breaks that are going to give you better value. And I'll say this in a hypocritical way. I've seen breaks that run with poor value. People like to take greater risks on weird shit, right? Like Diamond Icons. I don't understand it, but people like to take a risk on something like that. They know there's 30 teams. They know there's one card or, you know, that's going to get there. So 29 people are losing, but they like that and they take that. And I'll say that too. When you do that, you know that risk. Like I don't know many people who take that risk and then walk around and go, oh man, I got absolutely nothing. It was the end of the world, man. I hate breaking. I never get anything. Well, dude, you knew that going in, right? I mean, we really bamboozled. If you were, that's wrong, right? Right. So I'd say the problem, you're right, is that you shouldn't be paying a lot. I really encourage, I'd like to see more market-driven price in product. And I will say, I do think sports card breaking does have the most market-driven pricing. But again, and this is also this too, you should always, as a consumer, shop around in breaks. If you become loyal to one breaker because Joey always pulls the red fire cards on Fridays, and you think one day you're going to be the guy that gets red fire cards on Friday, I think that's a weird way to look at it, if that makes sense. Like, look around. What's other guys doing? What are their prices? How are they doing things differently? And I think also we should do a better job of sharing that. Like, the hobby, the breaking world is so much. I'm going way too deep in this too, by the way, on my live. I don't really want to talk too much about the breaking thing. I feel like I'm giving away some competitive ideas too to my competitors. Like, for example, well, I'm not going to say that. See, I could talk fucking forever on this shit. Let's wrap this show up. I like playing slots, drinking. No need, having fun, limited. Yeah. Again, it is a risk. I think, again, you learn ways. Like when I go play at the casino, back in the day, dude, I used to go to the casino as a young man thinking I was going to get rich. And every now and then I'd hit a big, you know, triple, quadruple, 5-up my money playing some stupid game. And then as I got older, I started thinking about strategies and ways to play it, right? Like with blackjack and can I do this? Can I do that? You just, as a human, evolve a better way to manage your risk tolerances and your way to looking at risk. If you continue to do the same thing over and over, you're an idiot. Like, again, if you keep touching the same hot pot and dropping the boiling water on your leg and you do it over and over, then dude, stop picking the hot pot up and pouring on your, like, stop. And that's why I'll also go back to this. If this is, and I'm not going to say it's not, if you have an addiction problem, oh boy, if you have an addiction problem, you need to really look at it as an addiction problem and get help. You cannot keep your finger in the water and quit, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Anyway. Oh, Ziggy stressing me out on the reckless gambling. I'm sorry, man. Dude, I feel the same way. Breaking is better odds than scratching lottery tickets. It just depends. It really depends. Same if they're talking hitting the lottery stock cards. It is. And again, like I said, man, the modern hobby is built around that. built around the instant gratification. It's not going to change, man. More and more of those stuff are coming, and every time, like, I'll tell you what drives me crazy. I'm not a big fan of retail cards. I really don't like retail. I appreciate retail, but I don't like it. And every now and then you'll see the post where the guy pulled a 101 out of retail blast. I'm like, damn it, why do they keep doing that? Because all people do that's what gets people to go out and buy more retail. Like, we know the retail is a bad value. In fact, to think about this, we know opening a box is the worst thing you can do in the hobby. The odds are against you. Well, opening retail is even worse than opening the hobby box. And yet we do that and we feast on it. And right now we're being fed it in tons of it. And again, because there's instant gratification, there really are cards that you can pull in a retail box that will pay for more than the retail box or greater than that. Okay. Professor Sports Card, shout out. Great video if you guys haven't watched it. I'm going to put together a show. I got so much more to talk about. Some of these bitch sessions later on. I won't wait too long, man. Peace out. I can't figure out how to share. I'm going to have to get StreamYard. I can't believe it depends that much money for StreamYard so I can share it with you guys.